Hey everyone, and welcome to The Explainer. So if you're an Indian college student right now, maybe you're chilling in your hostel room or stuck in the campus library, and you're dreaming about building something massive, well, you are in the exact right place. Today we're focusing on the startup mindset and opportunity discovery. My goal over the next few minutes is to literally rewire how you look at the world around you. We're going to strip away all that intimidating MBA jargon, toss out the fancy buzzwords, and get right down to the core of what it actually takes to spot an opportunity and build a true tech startup from scratch.
But hey, before we even touch the discovery part, I've got to ask you a pretty serious question. What if I told you that most people who say they want to build a startup aren't actually building a startup at all? I know, it sounds like a total contradiction, right? But it's true. So many ambitious students pour their hearts and pull all-nighters into projects, completely convinced they're on the path to becoming the next big tech founder, when in reality, they're building something else entirely.
Okay, let's dive into this. A startup is not just a small business with cool branding. Just because you have a sleek logo, an aesthetic Instagram page, and a clever name doesn't magically mean you're running a startup. This is the absolute biggest myth we need to shatter right now. To think like a founder, we have to wipe the slate clean and understand exactly what kind of machine we're actually trying to build.
So here's the actual ground truth definition we'll be working with today. See, most people think a startup is just a mini version of a huge company. It's really not. A startup is a temporary organization searching for a business model that is repeatable, scalable, and profitable. Did you catch that word? Searching. A startup is essentially a hunt. It's not this steady day-to-day operation where you already know exactly how you're making your money. You're in a temporary state of exploration, trying to find a formula that works, and more importantly, a formula that can grow exponentially.
Let's break that down into three essential pillars: temporary, searching, and repeatable. These literally set the entire foundation for a true tech startup. You're temporary because, well, you don't want to stay in this phase forever, right? You want to eventually become a large, established company. You're searching because you are actively experimenting to find what customers actually want. And you must be repeatable. Meaning, once you find that winning formula, you can essentially hit copy and paste to do it over and over again, reaching thousands or millions of users without the whole system breaking down.
Section 1. The grand split. Small business versus startup.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the sheer difference in mindset. Please understand, neither of these paths is better than the other. Both are incredibly valid ways to be an entrepreneur, but they require vastly different work. Look at this breakdown. First, the goal. A small business wants stability and reliable income, while a startup chases massive exponential growth. Second, the action. A small business executes a known business model. You know what you're selling and who's buying. A startup needs experiments. You are constantly testing hypotheses. And finally, scale. Small businesses grow at a steady pace, while startups are engineered from day one for explosive 10x scale.
Let's ground this with a real local example. A campus tiffin service is a fantastic small business. It provides a known service for a known fee. You cook the food, deliver the food, get paid. Boom. But contrast that with an AI platform that predicts lunch demand and manages supply chains across 200 different college campuses. The tiffin service requires flawless execution. The AI platform requires intense searching and experimentation to find a repeatable model that works in Delhi just as perfectly as it works in Mumbai or Chennai.
Or take the beloved campus chai stall. We all know and love it, an absolute staple for sure. But again, it's a steady, execution-based small business. You make the chai, you sell the chai. Contrast that with a scalable tech app dashboard designed to serve millions of users simultaneously. The physical, daily grind required to run the stall and count the cash is entirely different from the analytical work required to code, experiment, and scale that dashboard to handle a surge of 50,000 new users in a single afternoon.
And this brilliantly illustrates our final point. Say you figure out a clever way to fix a single canteen queue at your specific college. That's a great local fix. But what if you build a workflow solution that solves that exact same wait time problem for 5,000 plus students daily across multiple universities? That is massive, repeatable scale. That is the startup mindset in action. So, why am I hammering this difference home? Because confusing the two is literally the #1 reason student founders fail. If you treat a startup like a small business, you're going to completely skip the crucial searching phase. You'll just start executing on your very first idea without experimenting to see if people actually need it. And that is exactly how you waste 6 months of your life building something that absolutely nobody wants. In fact, a staggering 90% of all startups fail, very often because they stubbornly build products for a market that simply doesn't exist. You have to know which game you're playing.
Section 2. Finding patterns in chaos.
This is where that mindset shift really happens. Honestly, finding a startup idea is exactly like hunting for patterns in everyday canteen chaos. The average student just sees the chaos, right? They hear the complaints about the repetitive menu, the unorganized ordering, the ridiculous wait times. But a founder, they look at that exact same situation and see a highly scalable, repeatable workflow opportunity. They realize that if this one canteen is struggling with these specific variables, thousands of other canteens across the country are struggling with the exact same variables.
Here's another amazing example of this mindset pivot. A friend expressing deep career anxiety about their upcoming placements usually just gets sympathy. That's the normal human reaction. But a founder's reaction is to realize that this personal frustration actually represents a quantifiable startup market. If solving that resume or interview anxiety is worth, say, 2,000 rupees per student, and there are millions of students feeling that exact same pain every single semester, suddenly you aren't just looking at a friend's complaint. You are looking at a massive, scalable market. So, the crucial point is this mental leap. The average person encounters friction in their day, a broken process, a delayed service, a confusing form, and says, "Ugh, someone should really fix this." A successful founder encounters that exact same friction and asks, "Wait, why not me?" You have to stop seeing complaints and start seeing opportunities. You have to stop seeing chaos and start seeing patterns.
Section 3, your problem spotting list.
Okay, let's put everything we've talked about into practice. This is your actionable takeaway for today's explainer, your very first physical artifact of your upcoming startup portfolio. It all starts with training your brain to see the world differently, and we're going to do that systematically. Step 1. Just observe your daily campus life. Pay attention to what genuinely annoys you, your friends, or your professors. Step 2. Stop seeing chaos and start seeing patterns. Ask yourself, does this happen every day? Does this happen to everyone? Step 3. Document these real problems. Don't document your brilliant ideas or solutions just yet. Just document the raw, unfiltered problems you are observing.
Need some inspiration? Here are a few target examples for your list. 1. The endless canteen queues during lunch hour. 2. The absolute administrative nightmare of getting mess food refunds. I mean, think about it. How much time do you actually waste running from office to office just trying to get your own money back? 3. The lack of a unified bus pass app for student transit. Now, these might sound like small, local campus problems, but remember our AI lunch platform example? Billion-dollar ideas start by solving highly relatable, everyday problems, and then scaling that solution using those 3 startup pillars we discussed. I want you to find 10 of these raw problems from your own life.
And that brings us to the end of our explainer. I want to leave you with this. What pattern will you find in the chaos today? You now have the true definition of a startup, you know the critical difference between small business execution and startup experimentation, and your brain is officially primed to spot opportunities where everyone else just sees complaints. So, take a look around your campus. The next massive, scalable, repeatable idea is literally hiding in plain sight. It's up to you to find it. Get out there, start your list, and I'll see you in the next explainer.